Hi everyone. It's really late where I am right now. It's actually, well, let me check my time. It's about 10:30 p.m. where I am. So I don't usually record this late. In fact, I was getting ready for bed and I was really ready to actually get into bed, but this message was calling me so strongly. And the thing about this message is it's multifaceted. There are actually many different types of messages that want to come through. And I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to be dividing up this reading, but I have a feeling we're going to just keep it all in this same video. So it may take 10 minutes, it may take 30 minutes, it may take 50 minutes. And I never do this, but I really was feeling guided to share with you a few bullet points. Now, this won't be everything that comes through this reading, but you could think of these kind of like chapters of the video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share those points with you. And if all of that connects with you, amazing, you can stay for the whole video. If maybe some of it intrigues you, maybe you will still want to listen to the whole video, even if you're not sure. But if you're sure that some of this doesn't connect with you, maybe this will kind of help you to skip around in the video to find whatever part of this message is meant for you. Or of course, if you're feeling guided to just buckle in and listen to the reading in its entirety, that's entirely up to you. But the reason I'm saying that is because I feel like we're going to be covering a lot of different topics. But I will say this, although these may be different chapters or topics, I feel they all relate to an overarching story. And if this video is for you, this is an overarching story that's happening in your life right now, that's about this massive shift taking place that you've been feeling. I'm also hearing this video is coming up because a part of you has possibly been doubting or questioning this shift, which is completely natural and normal because the shift is huge here. And it's a break from so many old ways of doing things. So go easy on yourself. If you have been doubting things at times, I feel that's why this video came to you, whether it came up on your feed or you just really felt strongly pulled to check my channel today. Regardless, I feel like there's a reason you're here. And again, something I feel guided to say is, yes, these are different chapters in the reading that I'm going to be sharing with you, but they all do tie together. And my guides are saying as well, some of you may think that one of these chapters, and I'm going to get to it specifically, may not apply to you, but you also actually may not know yet how this is applying to you. So I could be speaking to something futuristically, and I will get into that. So let's go ahead and break down the so-called chapters that are going to be in this video, because again, I did consider dividing this up, but I think I'm just going to share it all here. Let's just get everything out on the table. So chapter 1 is The Heart Path is Calling You. Chapter 2 is The Universe Will Use People as Messengers and Signposts. Chapter 3 is just Someone New, ... And my guides kind of had me letting that trail off. And by the way, that is the chapter, if you hadn't guessed already, that some of you might think doesn't apply to you, but this may actually be speaking to you futuristically. So if you even have this slightest inkling or maybe just a desire for someone new to enter your life, I do feel for many of you this will be romantic, but this could be platonic as well. Then in that case, I would recommend sticking around for that particular chapter, even if you're not entirely sure if it applies to you. But I hope that providing this structure of the video in advance helps you to kind of navigate through things, if you will. Okay, so by the way, the fact I'm doing this video right now at 10:30 p.m., it will be a bit later as of when I'm posting it, of course, depending on how long it takes to record, and I will have to edit and upload it. But this is actually a representation of something happening collectively. I felt this pull, we could call it a heart pull, to do this reading. And in the same way, your heart is pulling you in certain directions, and I'm hearing inconvenient, that at times the heart can call upon you at moments or in ways that don't necessarily feel convenient from a physical perspective. So this may be times when you may be, well, like me, getting ready to go to sleep, and then you feel that snap impulse, that heart urge. And we'll get into more on that. But I feel that if you're listening to this video, you already kind of know what that is. You are familiar with the heart urge. It's difficult to describe in words, but it's this visceral gut feeling. Sometimes there's even a physical feeling associated with it that could be similar to like a warmth or a new energy surging through you, or this excitement or this butterflies in your stomach feeling. People process this in different ways, but this heart urge is really important to understand because it relates to this massive shift happening in your life. And so what's going on here is, in the past, there was a way of manifesting through really, really overutilizing the mind. Yes, the mind has its place, but the mind was being heavily overutilized at times at the expense of the heart. And many of us are familiar with this because we lived in that 3D paradigm for a while. And maybe you yourself were able to manifest, to accomplish, to create certain things when you were kind of forcing your way into it. Even at times, it's sort of that mentality like, ignore your emotions and take action anyway, that kind of self-disciplinary mentality that many of us are accustomed to in the motivational space. And of course, the mind does have its place. Structure does have its place. That's more so related to that masculine energy. But with the global awakening and reintegration of the divine feminine, we are really rediscovering the importance of tapping into our emotions, which of course flow from the heart, tapping into our intuition. And we're discovering that there is tremendous leverage and power in doing this that we could never access through the mind alone. Because whatever you create that is emotionally charged with emotion, with authenticity, I guess calling it emotionally charged naturally means it's charged with emotion, but I just felt the need to re-emphasize that it's an emotional thing. When you're putting that emotion into something you're doing or creating, you move in an entirely different way, and your creations take on a power of their own. They take on a completely different kind of power than when you are operating solely through the mind. And so there's been some resistance to this. And maybe you felt this internally where, because the heart path is the unknown path, it's the path where, quite frankly, sometimes you are only given the next step. And sometimes something feels so right emotionally, something pulls you into it, and it makes absolutely no sense to the conscious mind. It's inconvenient, right? That's that word, inconvenient, coming up here. And yet it is so true to the heart. I just had to sit with that for a second. But we're being guided to listen to the heart truths, even if they are inconvenient, even if they don't make sense to the conscious mind. But here's the thing, even though the path is unknown, you aren't without signs. You aren't without guideposts. Now, unfortunately, for those of you who may have been planning to kind of skip around in this video, because I even said that at the beginning because I thought we were going to move in a linear fashion, my guides have kind of changed the course here. So I do apologize for that. If you were kind of skipping ahead, I know I said you could do that, but I feel like we're actually going to be kind of weaving things together here. So we're actually going to talk about the universe using people as messengers and as these guides, but we may actually circle back to some things in chapter 1 as well. So this will not necessarily be linear, which once again, I keep getting this reading itself represents a shift happening in your life. The way I felt so guided to just create this reading late at night, the way it felt so emotionally charged, the way that I thought it was going to move in a linear fashion, but now it's moving in this non-linear way that feels right, but doesn't necessarily progress as I expected it to. And wow, that was a message for someone. This path feels so right to you, but it's not necessarily progressing the way that your mind is expecting. But trust it anyway. Now, this won't be a blind faith because, again, I'm getting there will be signs. And some of these signs, in fact, many of them will come in the form of people. What do I mean by this? Well, one thing that I already received on this is that people are going to be reacting to you differently on the heart path, because when you are connecting with your own heart, you're connecting with the hearts of others as well, and they naturally begin to interact with you differently. I'm hearing you might notice that you have more coincidental, well, seemingly coincidental, but not coincidental to the universe. Coincidences are really just coinciding incidences, as they say, on that kind of cosmic level. But you're going to notice people responding to you differently, whether it's people you connect with online. This could be, if you have an audience, a following, this could be people around you at work, just in your day-to-day life. It could be family, friends. Some of these will be familiar people, but you're going to notice people reacting to you in a different way. You're going to notice these, again, so-called coincidental connections with possibly even strangers, where out of nowhere you may meet someone and just have this randomly deep, meaningful connection. I'm seeing a carrier pigeon. It's almost like some of these people, even strangers, are sort of like carrier pigeons delivering some kind of message to you, letting you know something, which I really feel is that you are on the right path. Another sign that you're following your heart path is you're going to feel amplified emotions. And of course, we saw that coming through this reading because there's a lot of emotion coming up here, and many of you listening are most likely feeling that as well. It's because this reading itself is emotionally charged. And if it's connecting with you in a different way than some other videos or readings, even ones I've done before, know that what you're feeling is that emotional charge being created with. And you can do the same thing in any area of your life. You can create with that creative impulse, with that heart impulse, if you have the courage to follow it, again, even when that path is unknown and even when following it feels a bit inconvenient to you in some way. So another sign, just getting back to this, that you are on this heart path is you're going to begin to feel this deepened level of fulfillment that's really difficult to find the words to describe. Quite literally, it's just this feeling like I am exactly where I need to be. And if you want to lock in that frequency, you could even type that in the comments section. You don't have to, but I know some of you like to get an affirmation that you can actually type out, and in the act of typing, this can help you to kind of solidify that energy in a stronger way. So if you want to, you could type in the comments, I am exactly where I need to be, and just sit with that energy, because that is how your heart path is going to make you feel. And some of you are already connected with that. If you've been feeling kind of disconnected from that, almost like I feel like I'm walking around kind of empty, kind of in a void, this may be a sign to reconnect with your emotions. And I just saw the number 1414. I'm sure that has some kind of special significance. I am really feeling guided to look that up as well. I really just like doing these videos at times in kind of a conversational way, almost like we're just sitting down, having a cup of tea or coffee, and just having some kind of a conversation. So let me know if you enjoy that as well. But let's see what this number brings up for us. So this is about manifestation, balance, and spiritual alignment. You are being called to trust yourself. Interesting. A green light to pursue your passion, start a new venture, or make changes. maybe you've been waiting for some kind of permission to really go for something that is connected with you on that heart path, that is connected with you emotionally. And if you've been waiting for that permission, maybe this video is some kind of external sign of confirmation, giving you that green light. Although, of course, you don't need it because your intuition has already been giving you that green light. You've already been sensing this path pulling you. But I hope this provides you with that little extra bit of encouragement to trust that green light feeling you've been getting within yourself. I'm hearing there are many paths, but there is one path that is more emotional, and this is your heart path. So yeah, let's get into this. So when it comes to really determining which path is your heart path, this sounds so mystical, but it's actually so simple because it's about the path that actually charges you up emotionally. It causes this amplification of emotions within you, which is also how you're capable of feeling that deeper level of fulfillment as well. So this is the pathway where you could almost cry happy tears when you envision this happening. And you may not even know why it makes you, well, I can actually tell you why. You may not even know why it makes you so happy. You could just cry happy tears imagining it. But my guides are kind of cutting in to say the reason why you feel so much intense emotion about it happening and it feels so real is because you are actually feeling the timeline where that is your destiny, where that is actually taking place. That timeline exists, it's material, it's real, it's yours. It's your destiny timeline. And it's not about the thing, of course. It's not about the physical manifestation, whether it's you winning some kind of award, you having some kind of success, being known in some way, having your voice heard in some way, having your creations praised in some way. All of that is coming for you in whatever way you desire it, whatever way it feels connected to you emotionally. But it's not really about that. What it's about is the fact that this is the pathway where you are living most in alignment with your core soul frequency, and all of those physical things are coming as a byproduct. But what we're doing here is reverse engineering that equation by actually connecting you with that heart chakra energy first through your emotions. This is almost like a way to deeply unlock your soul's blueprint, your highest vibrational timeline, truly from the inside out, in kind of a backwards approach. Because what I'm getting is many of you have been aware of this highest pathway available for you, but maybe you've been wondering, how can I really go about connecting with this? And that's why this information has manifested through. Maybe it's manifested through as an answer to that collective question. But we're going to talk more about how to do this, how to connect with that heart chakra energy and align with that heart path, with that core timeline, which is also your highest vibrational timeline simultaneously, because your highest timeline is also the one where you are living most in alignment with your core self, your core frequency. So the reason, again, that when you imagine something that actually comes from your highest timeline, that brings up emotion within you, the reason you're getting emotional about it, the reason that emotion feels so real to you is because this is your destiny timeline, and your soul knows that on some level. And the more you tap into that emotional space, the more the physical actions and necessary steps are guided naturally. And that's where we talk about these heart impulses. So really, your only job then, once you've connected with that emotional energy, that heart chakra energy, your only job is to have the courage, the clarity, and the confidence to follow those guided action steps that come from your heart, to be able to recognize those heart urges or heart impulses when they come up, and to step forward and follow them, even though you're only given one step at a time. And that's another major message coming up here, that this is somewhat of an unknown path. The heart path is the unknown path. You're really only given that next step, but know that that is enough. So, wow, so much coming through here. In a practical sense, because my guides are really asking me to bring it down to a practical level, the way to enact this in a practical way is Well, the most simple way, there's many ways you could do this. I mean, you could listen to music, you could go for a walk, you could do an active meditation, you could tap into your heart many different ways, but the easiest way would be to sit with yourself in meditation, to relax your mind, to clear your mind, to really connect with your soul. Maybe focus on your breathing, because the breath can be a powerful tool to really get you to that level where you're free of distraction, where your mind is clear. And then what you're going to do is, instead of thinking, what do I want to manifest? Like thinking it through the mind, tap into an emotion. Ask, what feels the best to me? Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's a fantasy, even if you're imagining yourself like riding a unicorn or doing something just fantastical, let your mind drift to energies, to imaginations, to fantasies, to ideas that make you feel something. Whether it's a person, maybe a person from your past, anything that brings up positive emotion within you that makes you so happy imagining it. Maybe you're imagining reconnecting with someone, a friend, a lover from the past, whoever this is, and it might not even really make sense when it comes to your actual goals. Personally, it's just you reconnecting with this person, but it's so meaningful to you that you could almost cry happily just imagining it, because it brings up so much emotion. It may seem very strange. It may seem like a very roundabout kind of technique here, but I promise you, when you connect with that heart chakra energy, that emotional energy, it will naturally guide you into creation that is really powerful. So yes, even if your mind is wandering to a particular person and you're just immersing in this daydream of being with that person or connecting with them, even still, connecting with that heart energy will lead you to actions that will lead you into greater alignment with your highest vibrational timeline, the one that is most connected to your heart. And those actions may at times seem completely unrelated to the fantasy or the daydream itself. So for example, you could be imagining reconnecting with a friend and it's literally making you so happy you could cry, but then suddenly you get inspired to paint something or to write a song, or you get a new idea. It's because of the frequency that you're tapping into. It's not about the literal thing you're imagining. It's about the emotional frequency that it is creating and solidifying within you, and how that frequency is connecting you with a timeline that then floods you with inspiration forward that will be really, really powerful and will continue to align you with that highest timeline, one step at a time. So give this a try, see how it goes, see what happens if you simply either, again, listen to music or go into meditation or do whatever. But while you're doing it, allow yourself to just connect with the best feeling emotion you can find, using whatever visualizations you need to use to get there, even if those visualizations seem completely unrealistic, crazy, outlandish, or unrelated to what you would define as your personal goals. Use them anyway as a way to just get into that place where you're so happy you could cry. I know I keep saying that, but it's like, that's the most extreme level of happiness. It's the happiness where it's like, I found you, but I knew you'd be here all along. And I feel I'm speaking to like a timeline, a person, a goal, a dream. It's like you're finding something through this energetic exercise that you on some level always knew would be there. And it's this feeling of, wow, this is a confirmation that I could trust myself all along. I knew what this thing meant to me. I knew it was going to be important to me. And maybe no one else understood it, but I did. And I kept stepping forward on that pathway. And it's that feeling of almost like self-pride, like, wow, I am so proud of myself for believing in this dream, or believing in myself, or trusting my intuition. I feel like that is what really brings up the most profound emotion, that kind of happy cry emotion that we're describing here. But as I said, although we keep talking about this pathway being the so-called unknown path, where you only really get one step at a time, there will be signs, there will be guideposts, and most of these, or many of these, will come in the form of people, interactions, conversations, people who reach out to you, maybe even from your past. The way you feel yourself interacting with people on this deeper, more meaningful level, this can be a powerful sign for you that you are on this pathway. So pay attention. If you start really connecting with your heart, and then you notice people speaking to you, connecting with you, wanting to be around you, gravitating towards you in a different kind of way, these things are not coincidental. They are very much correlated. People are responding to you differently because you're connecting with your own heart. And in doing so, you're actually connecting with their heart space as well. Because when you are someone who is deeply, deeply connected to your own heart, you can't help but naturally activate the heart spaces, the heart chakras of people around you. And I feel that is one of the most beautiful gifts that you are giving the planet at this time through your presence, through simply being connected to your own heart, your own emotions, your own truth, and being present with other people. This is the greatest gift imaginable because it's actually helping others to connect with their own hearts as well, even strangers. And I know this is a really strange sign, but another sign is your eye contact. There's something about when you're in this heart chakra space, you are going to notice people looking at you more frequently, your eye contact with others feeling more intense. Maybe people have this kind of gaze that seems to linger on you. Because through that eye contact connection, I feel something really powerful happening. Maybe it's an intensification of that heart chakra activation, like the way you activate other people's hearts is intensified when there's also that eye contact, which makes sense because it's often said that the eyes are the window to the soul. And I see that being especially true here. I'm also getting, and I just received this download just now, sometimes you're going to find people are literal messengers for the divine. So sometimes people may actually accidentally channel something that is just what you need to hear. Now, of course, you can do this for others as well. And I actually pick up, you often are inspired to say something that is really this channeled message for someone else. You are often this divine messenger, but know that this goes both ways. You are going to be encountering a lot of people that you are this sort of divine, that you are receiving divine messages from. So people will accidentally, in a sense, channel things for you. For example, you may be connecting with your heart and then really creating something, music, art, etc. And then you meet someone who says, let's say you're a singer and you've been connecting with your heart on that and taking those steps forward. You may meet a stranger who says, you have a really beautiful voice. You should be a singer, or something along those lines. They might just say something that seems completely out of the blue, but is somehow so connected to a specific piece of yourself that is so connected to your own heart and your own highest timeline. It's almost like that person is accidentally acting as this guidepost on the highway, metaphorically saying, yes, you're still on that road. Yes, all of those dreams are still coming true. Yes, that's who you're meant to be. And this person is like channeling that through for you as a sign of confirmation. But yeah, sometimes people can be signs. These signs are not limited to people, not limited to interactions. The signs could come from other things as well. And I'll channel through anything else that comes on that if anything does come up. But for now, I want to shift into what I'm feeling many of you really eagerly anticipating, which is this idea of someone new coming into your life. And for many of you, I feel this being romantically. This could be someone you're meeting futuristically. This could be someone you just met. But I'm feeling a new person, a new energy. I'm hearing a new but familiar energy. This feels like someone or something much like that dream timeline where you got there and you knew it was there deep down all along. Now, I could be speaking futuristically, like to what you're manifesting, and you're going to get that feeling of like, wow, I always knew this existed deep down. But what I'm getting here is there's a person that you're going to be feeling that with as well. For some of you, again, you may have already met this person, but this does feel like a very new kind of energy. This doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a friend. This could be a supporter. This could be someone giving you an opportunity, but for many of you, this will be a love interest. So I know it's been 30 minutes. We haven't pulled a single card yet, but I really felt like the cards would be beneficial to channeling into this new energy. So who is this new person or energy coming up here? Journey. So there's been some kind of journey to get here, and I'm hearing this has been a journey of the soul. In order for the two of you to connect with each other, you've had to go on an inner journey. And it's not been easy for either of you. And I'm also hearing both of you have had to take this journey. Both of you have had to make some brave choices in your life to disconnect from things that were not right for you, to step forward into the unknown in order to connect with each other. And yet somehow, as you were feeling your way through the dark, I feel like you always sensed this other person. I keep getting the word supporter. So whether this is romantic or non-romantic, it feels like you were always a spiritual support system for each other, even prior to meeting, because on some level, you could always sense the presence of this other person's spirit. So when you meet, that's why it feels so familiar, because it's like, wow, we've been actually supporting each other this whole time. And now we're meeting in person and it feels so familiar. That's what's coming up here. But I feel with the Sun card reversed, the two of you could not have connected in the past, in past versions of yourself. And I'm hearing it would have been too intense. So I'm not sure exactly what that means for you, but I'm getting very strongly that the two of you in past versions may have not been able to handle this level of intensity. Maybe there is just so much intense spiritual energy between you. Like pure spiritual energy is, yes, very powerful, very transformational, but also very intense. That's why when we go through a spiritual awakening, yes, it can really make us cognizant of our highest timeline. It can bring us so much awareness, so much fulfillment, clarity, joy, new connection. But as all of us here know in this collective, it can also be so heavy. It can be very, very triggering. It can be challenging. We go through dark nights of the soul. And what I'm getting with this person is there's a lot of pure spiritual energy flowing between the two of you. There's a lot of spiritual synergy here, which, yes, is a very, very beautiful and powerful thing. In fact, I just got the download. The two of you will create something together or are meant to create something together. And I feel like this could be a project. It could be a collaboration. It could be a dream that you're bringing into existence. I feel like part of why you were destined to meet, even if this is romantic, is because you were meant to work in collaboration on something. And I'm also hearing surprised by the similarities. So you may be surprised by the similarities that you share with this person. I get the sense there have been many life parallels. I'm specifically seeing something about family and distance from family. Maybe both of you had to have a time where you were distanced from family or people that you were once very close to because you were trying to forge out on your own and create your own kind of dream. I know that that is hyper specific, so I'm not sure who that is for. But I feel almost as though you've both always kind of been this black sheep in your family, or if not family, this could be just in society or something. I feel like you have this energy of always being a dreamer, always having passion, following your dreams. And you really mutually inspire each other in that way as well when you meet. But again, there's always been that soul bond here, that spiritual bond here behind the scenes. But I feel like it's almost just this major, sudden, like I'm just hearing boom. Like it feels like this, like a slap in the face, but not in a negative sense. Like it just hits you all at once. This sense of deja vu with this person, this feeling of, wow, you are so familiar, this really, really strong attraction, this pulling, this magnetism. And again, if this is not sounding familiar, know that you haven't had this yet, but this could be speaking futuristically, because if this is happening to you or it has happened, you will know this is unmistakable. I'm also getting this connection itself just in general will be unmistakable and I don't even know if this is a word, but unmess-upable. That's definitely not a word, but you know what I mean. Like, you can't mess this up because that fear will come up. But this is very much orchestrated by divine timing. Like, the timing of the two of you meeting happens exactly when it can happen and not a moment earlier, not a moment later. I feel like it happens right when you both equally reach this point on your journey and in your evolution where you're able to actually handle the power and the intensity of this connection. So what else can I channel here with Door to Romance reversed? I feel that for those of you who consider this to be a romantic connection or to have some kind of romantic element to it, I'm getting the sense that even in that case, at first, things may seem a little off or blocked romantically. Maybe one of you is already in a connection or a relationship. Maybe the timing just seems bad. The circumstances just seem off. But again, that's all an illusion because divine timing is so heavily at play here. What I'm getting is, again, like if it's romantic, maybe it starts off feeling kind of uncertain, like there's this really strong chemistry, this really strong attraction, but maybe there are certain obstacles in the way or some kind of division or like a separation that would have to happen for the two of you to come together. But I'm so strongly hearing like, don't push it, don't rush it. Again, time, when it comes to the timing, things here are so divinely orchestrated. And I really emphasize that here because I know it's cliche to say everything is divine timing. And from some perspective, yes, there is divine timing at play in all areas of our lives. But I also feel that in many connections I read into, there can be a bit more leeway, like it might happen now, or depending on free will, it could happen later. And we kind of channel into those sorts of connections a lot. But this one is different. Divine timing, when I say it's at play here, I mean like, your guides, this connection, they've really, really orchestrated down to the detail. And I feel them almost like literally pushing the two of you together. Again, whether that's in a romantic sense or a non-romantic sense. And it's going to be unmistakable. It's also not going to be stoppable. And if this is romantic, but there are blockages or barriers in the way, I'm strongly hearing not to pay mind to this, not to worry about this, because just like divine timing has orchestrated this meeting, divine timing has also orchestrated the progression of this connection in the way it's meant to progress. It almost feels like being on a track here, like a literal railroad track where you're being moved forward at just the right time. But I'm hearing as long as you stay connected to your heart. So it's all about staying connected to your heart, to your emotions. That's what naturally seems to connect you with this person and with this unfolding situation and connection. With the Fool, I'm just hearing embrace the unknown here. Embrace not needing to have all the answers. I'm getting very strongly that you may feel a very strong heart pull to this particular person. And just like we talked about how at times your heart will pull you into things that just don't really make sense to the conscious mind. I saw 38 on the timer, but maybe we'll channel into that in a minute. I feel like though, just how many of those impulses in your life may make absolutely no sense. In this case, you are feeling a very strong heart pull to this person, but you're thinking this doesn't make sense, or I don't know how this person is meant to fit into my life, where this connection is meant to fit into my life. And they're feeling the same way. And yet there's this undeniable magnetic pulling that's coming from the heart. It's your hearts that are pulling you together. And I'm just hearing this message of trusting in the unknown, trusting this pull of your heart towards this person, just like you are in this process of trusting your heart when it comes to these impulses that are moving you forward in your life. So there's a lot of unknown with this connection, but also this unmistakable feeling of destiny. So what else can I channel here? I'm hearing you are meant to heal each other's hearts. Whether that's through a romantic connection that's very mutually supportive in a way that you've not experienced before, or whether that's through being connected in some other kind of way where you are just supporting each other, helping each other. I'm hearing believing in each other's dreams. I feel like you've both been around many people or situations who didn't support you in doing something that felt so right for you, whether it was a dream, a goal, a part of yourself. And I just feel like this person gets it and you get them as well. Like, even if you're not doing the exact same thing, even if your passion or dream isn't the same, you both are dreamers in some sense. And you're healing each other's hearts by, well, providing this physical support for each other that is really just a manifested form of the support your souls have been providing for each other all along. Because again, there's always been this soul bond between the two of you. I feel with Six of Wands that you're also going to help each other to succeed on a higher level. That anything you create together or when your energies are combined is going to take on a potency, a special kind of power. Now, I have to channel into this because although I know this reading is getting kind of long, this is coming up in the cards as well with the Strength card reversed and the Devil card reversed. I said that I felt, especially if this was a romantic connection, there may be certain blockages or barriers or things kind of in the way, seemingly, of progressing this. I'm hearing illusion though. Like, there's an element of illusion about that because what I'm getting is, if that is the case, someone here has attached themselves or been connected to certain people or things that appear to be creating blockages. But the reason they've connected with those things is because they doubted themselves. It's like those things latched onto a vulnerability or a self-doubt within this person. I'm hearing a weakness in the infrastructure and a weakness in the structure. So keep in mind, again, divine timing has been strongly at play here. The two of you would not have met if you weren't supposed to be collaborating or aligning or connecting in some way. So if there is some kind of obstacle or blockage, it's really just an illusion in the sense that it might seem like it's in the way, but I'm hearing it's already been on the way out. So I feel that in a sense, energetically, some block has already been cleared, but the physical remnants of the manifestation of that block are still kind of present, but they're on the way out, is what I'm getting. So for example, I keep seeing repeating numbers. I just saw 4242 as well. So for example, and this is just one example, if this person was in another romantic relationship or something of that nature, and this connection is romantic, you might have thought, wait, but they're with someone else. I feel like we met at the wrong time. What you may not know is that this person connected romantically with that other person when they were in a state of self-doubt, of vulnerability, weakness, but they had already cleared and healed that wound around vulnerability just before meeting you. They became more confident in themselves. And this is why the universe connected you, because they healed that blockage. It opened the way for the two of you to connect in the physical world. And so anyone in their life that they may have been connecting to romantically from that place of self-doubt or vulnerability, that connection is now like on its way out in some sense because it has nothing to attach to any longer energetically. That's why I keep getting this message. And again, that's a very, very specific example. It won't be necessarily that specific scenario. That's just one example. But whatever the obstacle or blockage here is, the guides really want you to not feed it your attention, to focus on your heart. Again, it's that thing of allowing your heart to be the guide here, even if it doesn't really logically make sense, seeing where it leads you and allowing these people, these situations, these conversations to be those guideposts for you, to remind you that you're on the right track. But I keep hearing, don't overthink it. Like when you do see these perceived blockages, know that you could be seeing remnants physically of an energy that's already been cleared. So in essence, what you're seeing in that reality is in the past by the time you're observing it, or it's on its way out in some sense. You would not have met this person, or you will not meet this person if you haven't met yet, until divine timing like initiates here and activates this connection and says, okay, enough has cleared here for the two of you to meet. I just feel this like green light going off on both sides from both of your guides, opening the way for this meeting. Again, it's very, very specifically timed. And maybe this message came through in part if you're experiencing this dynamic to remind you to trust the unfolding of this connection while continuing to step forward, staying connected to your own heart. So, wow, what a reading this has been. This reading has ended up being about 45 minutes long. I do actually still want to channel into two numbers that came out earlier today. I believe it was 3838 and 4242. But even if not, that's what I'm really getting now. So I feel there are going to be messages from those numbers. And let's see if we can pull some meaning from this. But also, I have been thinking a lot about adding a new subliminal to my subliminals app that is really related to connecting with this heart chakra energy. And this is because we've talked a lot recently about the power of manifesting through the heart as opposed to manifesting exclusively through the mind. So I really decided just prior to hitting the record button that yes, I am going to be creating this specific subliminal in the app, but it isn't created yet. So I will leave a pinned comment underneath this video that I will update for you. So it will be at the top of the comments section, and I will leave an update there when this subliminal is available. Because what this is going to do is, well, I feel it's going to be very transformational. I feel it's going to be one of my best subliminals to date because it's going to help you in that process we were describing earlier where you're meditating, you're really connecting with your heart space. I'm going to be incorporating heart chakra frequencies and tones and also affirmations targeted to your subconscious mind, which of course really is like the powerhouse of the mind. But this is all going to be designed to make it easier for you to really connect with that heart space, to really sink into that in meditation. And from that place to then be able to do that whole kind of visualization exercise we described where you're really connecting with what brings in that highest emotion for you. So I feel like this subliminal is really going to facilitate that whole process. And so again, I will update the top comment under this video when it is available. And if you don't yet have my subliminals app, the name of the app is Sound and Soulful. So you can search it directly in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, depending on your device. But just for ease, I will also be leaving a link directly to explore the app, to learn more about it, and to download it in the pinned comment. And I'll also put that link in the description box as well. So if you're already a member in the app, I'll let you know when I update the comment what you can search in the app to find this subliminal. And of course, if you're not yet a member, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial by clicking the download link that I'll be leaving there as well. Now, this may take me a couple days to create, so I'm not sure exactly yet when it will be out. So depending on when you're watching this video, you may have to check back for more information on that. But let's go ahead and channel into those angel number meanings to close out this reading. So the number 3838 can be a powerful sign of abundance, creativity, personal growth, and alignment with your purpose. This can also have to do with the way you communicate yourself, self-expression. And I feel this in itself is very significant because I've really been receiving that you are communicating yourself in an entirely new way, not just to people around you, but it's almost like you are communicating differently with the very fabric of your reality. And that's showing up in synchronicities or the kinds of things that you're manifesting in your life. But the number 4242 means stability, patience, harmony, and trust in divine timing. Yeah, those words, divine timing, coming out here again is really interesting because that's just what we've been talking about. That, well, especially when it comes to this potential new person in your life, but really in all areas of your life, divine timing is very, very strongly at play here. So there is this guidance of trusting that unfolding. And again, the way you can trust it is by paying attention to the signs that you are really connected with your heart, because it's the heart path that you are trusting. And even though it's the unknown path, meaning it's only given to you one step at a time, it is still the most powerful path. It's the pathway to the harmonious manifestation of all of your dreams and desires, but specifically the ones that are connected to your heart, many of which, by the way, you may not even be able to consciously define at this point. Maybe they can't yet be defined, but they're still going to be unfolded on this pathway. So, wow, this has been one of my longest readings I've done recently, but I really enjoyed spending this time with all of you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope you gained something from this reading. And of course, if you did, I would love for you to subscribe. But I'm going to close things out here. And I just want to say that if you listened this far, all the way to the end of the video, you really are going through this major shift in your life, because there's no way that all of this was connecting unless you were shifting in a massive way. So congratulations on really having aligned with your own heart pathway. I'm so excited to be part of this journey with all of you, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.